ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy has more on that. Hi, Mick. So a source tells ABC News Russia is still demanding Ukraine cede unoccupied territory and that Ukraine's not willing to do that. The source also says Russia is refusing to discuss any form of ceasefire. So what do you think Witkoff needs to do in this talk with Putin tomorrow?
So, Diane, it's clear that the Russian position hasn't changed. They think they can make incremental gains, and they're going to continue to do so. What I think Special Envoy Witkoff needs to do is to talk about the consequences if they don't agree to this U.S.-Ukraine 19-point plan. And that should include additional sanctions. It should include unfreezing their frozen accounts for Ukraine. And it should include approving advanced weapon systems that aren't currently approved to be used by Ukraine against Russia. That's the only thing they understand. They would be happy to have continuous summits as long as they're making incremental gains. That to them is just a delaying tactic. So we have to really talk about consequences.
Russia launched more deadly strikes overnight, hitting an aid warehouse in Ukraine. What's their strategy on the war front right now?
Well, it has been since the beginning that they try to militarily take terrain in the east of Ukraine, and they directly target civilians and civilian infrastructure. So all against the law of armed conflict, but they do it near continuously. Their effort is to terrorize the citizenship, is to kill and destroy the infrastructure that, of course, is so important to any society, especially one during the winter, to try to put pressure on them. I don't think it's going to work. The Ukrainians are incredibly resilient, but that hasn't stopped the Russians from continuously targeting these unlawful targets.
Meanwhile, Mick, the Washington Post is reporting Secretary Hegseth ordered U.S. forces to kill everyone on board an alleged drug boat. What do you make of that report, and what are you watching for as lawmakers push for more oversight?
Well, first on that, Diane, it's important that the facts are determined by these relevant oversight committees in the House and Senate, not just from speculation from one media report. I do believe they will look at the underlying legal basis of these, the imminent threat concept of these drug boats, whether that is sufficient to be able to mount these at all. And then, of course, how that would change if this report is true, where one strike disabled the boat and injured individuals that were in the water, whether that was still an imminent threat. And I think that has to be determined by the facts, both in testimony by those involved and these videos you're seeing. They're likely videos of both of these strikes, if that is in fact what happened. So that needs to be determined by these oversight committees, and I'm sure that they will start that soon.
All right, Mick Mulroy, thank you.